The Alienware M18 is an absolute unit. Yes, we know 18-inch gaming laptops are giving us sky-high performance numbers in 2023, but Dell's first big-screen machine can not only top those charts but also squeeze itself down into far more stomachable price points. That's not something we can say for the majority of the best gaming laptops, so whether you're after an RTX 4090 powerhouse or a steadier RTX 4060 rig, the M18 is bringing big-screen gaming to all. Configurations start at $1,699.99/£1,798.99, but our test unit came closer to $3,000. We say close to 3K because the configuration I tested doesn't seem to be a viable option on Dell's part picker right now. My Intel i9-13900HX CPU can't be paired with the RTX 4090 whirring away in this test rig anymore, but you'll find an i9-13980HX model available for $3,199.99 instead. All that's to say, this is actually cheaper than the Asus ROG Strix Scar 18 and much cheaper than the Razer Blade 18 it's going up against. Considering the incredible performance I saw from game benchmarks and industry tests, that's no mean feat. Yes, Alienware has made some sacrifices along the way in screen, speakers, and portability, but if you're after a desktop replacement that really can take over your setup, you're in the right place. Despite its chunky weight, the Alienware M18 actually feels a little slimmer than the Asus ROG Strix Scar 18. It's by no means the sleek, almost portable Razer Blade 18, but with a tapered edge to the front lip it's a lot less imposing on the desktop. Don't get me wrong, this still isn't a machine you'll be slinging in a backpack, but it feels more manageable thanks to this sloped design. Elsewhere, everything is as you would expect from an Alienware laptop. The embossed 18 is the only aesthetic difference between this and the smaller Alienware M16 I had my hands on earlier in the year. You're still getting the cool gray sheen across both the aluminium lid and plastic main body, with hexagonal grills running underneath the main display. The RGB Alienware logo and slimline ring of light around the rear ports remain as well, adding an optional flair to an otherwise understated rig. Everything feels solid here, with a build quality and material selection that feels worthy of that high-end price tag. This is, though, without a doubt, the heaviest gaming laptop I've ever had to lug around. Just lifting the base slightly to check out the rubber feet underneath is a two-handed affair. That 4.23 kilograms weight is far heavier than the 3.1 kilograms shared by both the Scar and the Blade. While none of these laptops are going to be regular travel companions, the Alienware M18 is going to be even more difficult to transport should the need arise. The massive 18-inch display takes pride of place here, as it should. This is an all-immersive screen designed for those after a monitor replacement, as well as a high-end PC. It can take a little getting used to, especially if you're more used to using a gaming laptop in lap mode. However, it's a particularly enticing experience once you've had a taste of it, and works well across both gameplay and daily productivity multitasking. The M18's display comes in two flavors, a higher resolution but ultimately slower QHD plus 165Hz panel, or a lower 1920x1200p resolution with a super quick 480Hz refresh rate. The latter is going to satisfy competitive gamers far better than it will those after exciting solo adventures, so the majority of players will opt for the QHD Plus option. That makes the 165Hz refresh rate a little disappointing. The Razer Blade 18 and Asus ROG Strix Scar 18 both pack 240Hz speeds into their QHD Plus panels, with Asus going a step further and packaging HDR capabilities in as well. On paper, then, the Alienware M18 falls behind in its display capabilities, but I was still impressed with the sharpness and detailing on this panel. Like other Alienware rigs I've tested, the matte covering across the screen leaves it struggling for brightness, and color contrast can sometimes suffer as well. Similarly, you'll find better motion handling from higher frame rates in Razer and Asus's panels as well. Where Alienware does have the upper hand, though, is in both its port selection and placement. There's a generous supply of inputs and outputs here, with the majority relegated to the rear of the device. That meant I was able to quickly set everything up and keep all those messy cables out of sight while using. I primarily tested the M18 by itself on a desktop, but also tested when connected to a monitor, keyboard, and mouse via an external dock. With ports on the back and a few easy access USBs on the sides, I had everything I needed without any clutter. That's exactly what you want from a laptop touting itself as a desktop replacement. Unfortunately, the Scar 18 and Blade 18 can't quite offer the same. Of course, the magic happens under the hood, and if you're looking to spend a little less, this is where Alienware has Asus and Razer beat again. Not only can you configure the M18 to feature the latest and greatest components, an Intel i9-13980HX and RTX 4090, but Alienware has also included specs that take you all the way down to the mid-$1000s. A baseline configuration comes in at just $1,699.99/£1,798.99, far cheaper than the options available on other 18-inch rigs. That's perfect for those after the big screen experience but don't need the full whack of an RTX 4080 or RTX 4090 GPU. Supporting that massive screen is a set of decent speakers. While they're certainly loud, they lack the robust sound quality of the Strix Scar. Of course, with fan noise added to the equation, you'll likely be seeking out a gaming headset for full immersion, but if you're also going to be playing movies and music from these built-in speakers, it's worth noting that they do come across a little lighter than other options. The keyboard running along the midsection of the main deck is full-sized with a generous number pad and plenty of dedicated function options and media controls. That's to be expected from an 18-inch gaming laptop, but not taken for granted. The Blade 18, for example, keeps things restricted to basic typing only.